Daytime. SCP Daytime.
Well, it looks like it's going to be another fine day.
Resistance is futile. Just simulate the day.
Go ahead. Make my day.
How was your day today? Did you have a good day today or a bad day today? Well, what kind of day was it? Well, I don't know. How about you? How was your day?
We have a big show for you. Good luck, show boy.
How on with you and away we go.
That's the smartest thing I've heard all day.
SCP Daytime.
Two geographical locations not getting a lot of use these days: the high road and common ground. The high road, of course, a stretch of highway America likes to convince itself that it prefers when navigating the tricky journey through discussions and or debates about religion or politics, especially politics. But a stretch of highway that lies all but unused during the current political journey. Traffic, in fact, so sparse and rare that it makes Kramer's luxurious extra-wide lane parcel of roadway seem like gridlock personified.
Yeah.
And common ground? Well, common ground is always a slippery slope in the best of circumstances and or the best of times. And to paraphrase Dickens, it's arguably the worst of times, but it's bet your byways, baby, nothing even close to the best of times. This past weekend, my Sunday radio show was heavy on hatred. I didn't start out with the intention of hatred being a theme per se, but the more segment blocks I filled and the more eyeballing of the current climate I did, the more I realized how much hate has been allowed to evolve from that drip, drip, drip that we're always meaning to stop with a new washer to a flow that's rapidly turning into a rushing stream that can easily become a tsunami given how the prevailing winds are affecting the way the tide is turning. And the too easy to jump to conclusion is that in the maelstrom of madness that we now almost self-satirically refer to as our election process, the only thing we seem to have in common is anger, or frustration, or hatred. We all seem to hate something. We either hate Hillary, or we hate Donald, or we hate Hillary because she's the only choice we've been given as a solution to the fact that we hate Donald. Or we hate the people who supported Donald because they're responsible for making him the only alternative to Hillary. Or we hate the people who support Hillary. That's all. We just hate them because they support her. Oh, and black people hate cops, and cops hate black people, and black cops have it really bad with having to live in limbo between those two worlds. Forget shaking there, Jerry Lee. Whole lot of hating going on. Today, as I was doing my morning after show ritual of review and assessment and appraisal, combined with a perusal of what fresh hell has been unleashed on us in media and online in the 12 or so hours that have passed since I signed off, I had a little epiphany. And it occurred to me that while the divisions between us are arguably more pronounced than at any time since the 1860s, and there is irrefutably a lot of hate out there, not everybody's necessarily feeling hatred or hateful. But there is, in fact, something that we all really do have in common. All of us, at least in one way or another. We all feel cheated. Now, feeling cheated in an election period in America is a lot like feeling cheerful and upbeat during the holiday season. It just sort of comes with the territory. But that feeling of cheated many of us experience from our political suitors has traditionally come along after the votes have been counted. Sometimes not even until a little time has passed and the chosen one or ones reveal their feet of clay, their inability or unwillingness to deliver on the promises they made to convince or seduce us. Their abject failure to accomplish little but add their names to the very long list of those who have wined us and dined us and campaigned us off our feet, only to leave us betrayed when we discovered their whole for love of country style of romance was really just one more wham bam, thank you voters.
Wham bam, thank you, ma'am.
This time around, we've been feeling cheated pretty much since the get-go.
Haven't you heard about the guy known as the cheater?
We feel cheated by a matchmaking process disguised as a demonstration of democracy at work that put 18 potentials in front of us to choose from and then allowed so many well-intended but clearly starry-eyed choosers a voice in the whittling down that we were left with a slick, savvy, seeming rebel rogue who, like all the inevitable eventually abusive husbands in history, did a Lifetime movie-worthy job of telling those starry-eyeds exactly what they want to hear. Truth, sincerity, decency, decidedly optional. Getting half of the population out of their panties and putting the other half of the population into a panic. We feel cheated by the process or the plot hatching or simply just the fucked up fate of finally, seemingly arriving at a moment of social and cultural maturity that allowed the nation to finally catch up with 3/4 of the rest of the planet and choose for the first time a woman to make the next to final cut on the list of potential chief executives. Only to find that the woman, designated or destined to survive that final cut, brings so much baggage to the campaign train station that half the population is inspired by her vision and her potential, and the other half of the population is incited to near lynch mob madness by her mere presence on the planet. We feel cheated by those whose profession of providing us with information that we crave, covet, and most assuredly need to assist us in making intelligent, informed decisions about leadership once brought integrity and objectivity to that profession, but now, as a sacrifice to the gods of Nielsen and the riches available only by pleasing those gods, have plunged a dagger right through the heart of that integrity and objectivity and honesty. We feel cheated by the unmistakable and unavoidable feeling that we've been seated in a booth at the Constitutional Cafe on Take Us to Our Leader Tuesday, anticipating a savory red, white, and blue buffet from which to select that leader that satisfies our hunger for heroism while nourishing us in the style and in the ways we need it most, only to find that there are two and only two choices on this menu. Demagogue, with a side of sour grapes, listed as having a tough shell that turns out to be a thin skin that automatically bites back at anyone trying to bite into it. And Hill of Beans, a murky stew of the tried and true, looking a lot like the same old, with a flavor a lot of people simply don't like, but oddly can't really explain why. We feel cheated by having to listen, consider, process, and endure an election process that puts us through up to 2 years of exhausting listening, considering, processing, and more to the point, enduring an election process.
This must all end!
Only to be left with the choice of falling off a cliff or jumping off a cliff. We feel cheated that the words we've been taught all our lives, equal rights, liberty and justice for all, e pluribus unum, a more perfect union, have begun to fray so badly that the parchment where they reside is at risk of unraveling. And I'd offer you that deep down in the heart of hearts, we feel cheated that a system for which many have supported, endorsed, participated in, and too many have sacrificed blood, sweat, tears, and sometimes life itself has betrayed us by mutating into an obsolete, sputtering to a dead stop piece of useless machinery and little more than a late-night comedy punchline. On the list of oxymorons, there exists at the moment none more qualified a term to be on that list than the term United States. So many cannot agree on where we are right now. So many cannot agree on what the outcome in November should be, and so many, too many, will not be happy, satisfied, or even accepting of the outcome come November. Solutions and answers, always elusive, are now difficult at best, impossible at worst to find. And adding to our current difficulties, there are two once helpful, once beneficial, once essential geographical locations not getting a lot of use these days: the high road and common ground. With one sorry exception, we all feel cheated.
Wherever we go, whatever we do, we're gonna go through it together. We may not go far, but sure as a star,